Hello and welcome to part 3 of the guide for Last Light of Dawn. I already made 2 guides for the mod. This time I made a new one, part 3. Part 3 is extended guide. This time we focus more on the difference between the weapons and how you make your class loadout, what is good, yeah, and how to build up your team. So you have for wave clear something for boss damage and for support and heal. In the last guides, I explained how to block and how the blocking mechanics works and how to kite and control enemies. And this time we focus no more on the difference between the weapons, and we start now with the weapons, I would say. I have now the Librarian. Yeah, the Librarian with the sword. All weapons, they're built, weapons that are built like the sword, so small, and you have a lot of field of view, also your sight, your vision is not blocked. And you can hold the block K and move, and you are not slowed down when you hold the block K. And such weapons like the sword from the Librarian are pretty good because you can hold the block. You can hold block with your weapon and just move, and you can still see everything, and you are protected from surprised enemy attacks like stalkers. But other weapons, like Energy Fist or Claws, they are very clunky. When you block with these weapons, you can't see much. Yeah, you see it's blocked. It blocks your vision, and you can't see much. But while you hold now an Energy Fist or a Sword, what do you want to equip? What are the strengths and differences, and what is the weakness? Also, one weakness of the Energy Fist is now you can't see much when you block. You can move the little sidewards to see what is in front of you, but your blocking angle is very small. This means when now an attack comes from the right side, it will hit you with full damage and it's not blocked. You really need to look at the enemy you want to block the attack from it. Some enemies do so jump attacks. They jump so right or left to you, and they do a hook like a boxer with the hand, a hook to your face. And these hooks can go around your block, so you need to track the enemy in front of you, and you need to track the arm, also the hands of them, and need to look is a right swinger attack from the left or right, like a boxer hook, and then you need to turn your camera to the enemy, or they will attack you around the block in your face. So it's know the difference between the melee weapons. It's a little self-explained. Of course, the sword is Librarian exclusive. The next C weapon would be the axe, and you can equip basically this moment. I will explain later the difference between sword and C axe. But between Energy Fist and the Corswain, because every class has a choice to equip the Energy Fist or the Corswain with all weapons, and the Corswain is like the sword you can see a lot when you block with it. So this would be a plus point, but the mace we have now on our left hand deals less damage than the Energy Fist. The Energy Fist usually would one hit almost every enemy what is not the boss enemy, and with the mace on our left hand we would often need 2 or 3 attacks, sometimes even 4 when we hit when we don't do a critical hit. So why this Causeway Mace is better for defense, because you can block and see and can kite easier enemies. The energy fist is better for aggressive front play where you want to go very fast in the enemies and make a lot of utilizing of your ranged weapon and melee weapon and combines them very often between range attacks and melee attacks to control and destroy the enemy. You can use ranged weapon to apply a stagger on the enemy, so it's staggered, and then with the energy fist you can one hit kill them and finish them off. Also the energy fist is better in hitting multiple enemies at once compared to the mace. The mace sucks a little when you have a lot of enemies because some weapons Gene Stealers tends to block some weapons, some melee weapons, more often than others. The energy fist is pretty good. It feels like it hits every time, while the mace hair is often blocked from Gene Stealers. Okay, I would like to explain more the damage and specials between the melee weapons for each class. And then after this, I would say we go to the ranged weapons. I think we start with the Librine because the Librine is a default class in the campaign and in the multiplayer. Usually the best choice in this mod is the sword or the axe. The sword is very, very good, very, very strong against the trash enemies, normal wave spawns from the Gene Stealers. You can kill a lot of enemies very fast and a lot of enemies in one hit. The difference between the Sea Axe is you have a longer cooldown on your Psyker abilities with the sword, and the axe shortens the cooldowns, also reduced it, so you can use more often your abilities with this class. So I could say the sword is good when you want to play a frontliner, also a frontline class on the top of your squad, and hack and slay your way between against the Gene Stealers. With the sword, you are very focused on melee damage and melee combat. While with the axe is very good for kiting and defensive play. You can make more use of your Psyker abilities. And basically with the axe you can just hold, block, and use your lightning strike ability. It's 4 seconds in multiplayer. In single player the ability is a little buggy and you have basically 0 cooldown now. But in multiplayer it's always 4 seconds with the axe. When you have Thunderlord equipped, and when you have the axe you should equip the Thunderlord build to reduce the cooldown of the lightning strike, and then you place around your cooldowns. You want to avoid the enemy in melee combat and survive long enough that you can utilize all your abilities and cooldowns. Also the Sea Axe on your left, the melee weapon, deals more damage to boss enemies, Skyfish Trains and Brute Lords, than the Sea Sword. Also with the Sea Sword it takes really a long time to kill them, but the axe is better in boss damage. And with the Lupine it's a good choice when you have the Sea Axe, that you spam your lightning strike and the spontaneous explosion on the boss, and then try to hit them in melee when it's safe, because the melee weapon deals much more damage than your Stormbolter against bosses. And Brian. Okay, let's switch to the next class. Yo, the Heavy Terminator. The heavy Terminator has a nice arsenal on weapons, and you have a lot of choices to play it how you like. Also the default is Storm Cannon by default equipped, and the Steel Storm Cannon is one of the best all-rounders. It's very good against waves, also against the small gene stealers. A lot of gene stealers, it kills them fast, it kills a lot, it can good crowd control. You just need someone in front of you who can frontline like the O'Brien or the Assault Terminator, and then you can just hold the trigger. Easy peasy, self-explained. Then the next weapon would be the Vengeance. The Vengeance has less ammunition compared to the Assault Cannon, and you will run faster with it out of ammo. But the base damage and time to kill of the Vengeance is higher, much higher. I think it's one of the highest in the mod. Much higher than the Assault Cannon. And it almost one-shots all enemies that are not bosses, and it deals a lot of damage against bosses, so the Vengeance would be a good choice when you have a mission where the time between side gates are very short, so you can restock your ammo often, or when you need something like boss damage but still need a little wave clear, then the Vengeance is a good option. So long you can hold the trigger and have still some ammo, everything in front of you will delete it. Kill everything. So the next weapon would be the Plasma Cannon and the Spear of Caliban. By default, you know the time between shots, the fire rate is a little low. You can increase the fire rate and make this a very good weapon by switching your build in the mod. And it's a Plasma Specialist build. You get 19% less plasma damage plus 20% armor penetration for the Spear of Caliban, and you can reload faster, and reload faster also applies to the plasma weapons. So the Plasma Cannon shoots much faster, so it's a good option. All plasma weapons have infinite ammo, so you don't need to resupply. The time to kill and damage, so the time to kill is slower compared to your Assault Cannon or Vengeance or Bolters. But the good thing is halt, you have infinite ammo and you don't need to reload. And the Plasma Cannon also is a good damage dealer against bosses. I think a good option would when you have the full team with Plasma. I think then is where Plasma weapons very can good shine. Because when you have 2-3 heavy Terminators with Plasma and can shoot them all in the same direction, nothing will come to you. So Spear of Caliban, compared to the Plasma Cannon, I would say that Plasma Cannon is a better choice for the heavy Terminator than the Spear of Caliban. Still can be played, but the fire rate is not much difference. The Plasma Cannon has much higher base damage and higher explosion radius, so it's a little easier to hit 1 or 2 enemies at once. Also the Redemption with the Plasma Specialist build have faster reload, so it could be an option on the heavy, because the heavy has still 5% ammo when you equip Plasma Specialist build. And when we look at the tactical is also a build where you can reload faster, but he has no ammo upgrades when he has built the strategist build where he can heal out faster. But he can stack 100% acid reduction against explosion gene stealers. So basically you're immune against explosion gene stealers. So you have the choice. Ammo, little more ammo is better against melee attacks. So you are more tanky against melee attacks. And the tactical would be better against explosion gene stealers. So the Spear of Caliban is a very solid choice for the tactical. Infinite ammo. You have the Skull Tone. You can call the Skull Tone for damage support, fire support. And the slow fire rate makes it a little harder to hit these explosion gene stealers because they run left and right and explode in your face. But when you equip 100% acid reduction, you can basically ignore it with this class and can't face tank the explosion gene stealers, the suicide gene stealers. So the tactical has some nice builds. Basically, your choice of weapons for this class is based on what build you play. We have at the moment the strategist build equipped with faster reloading and acid damage reduction and more damage for Stormbolters. So very good choice is the Stormbolter MK2. High fire rate, has a little more ammo than the other classes and other builds, and very fast reloading. It's like Assault Cannon, but just for the tactical. Has a high precision, low recoil, and the Stormbolter is not a good choice with the strategist build because the base damage is just so low and it takes too long to shoot the magazine empty. The fire rate is so low, and then you can't really utilize the faster reload perk for the build. So you would to stick with Spear of Caliban, Stormbolter MK2 or Redemption with faster reload perk, oh sorry, is a good choice. You look basically on priority targets, you can the Redemption is good against explosion gene stealers. You can hit them very easy because it's a shotgun. It has high stagger power and a high base damage. You just need to pay attention that you really hit the enemy and all shells, also all bullets, shotguns bullets, hit the enemy. So we swap the build for the tactical, and of course when you change the build you have other choices that are better for your weapons for the build, and we equip the Tech Marine build and go back to the tactical. Okay, this is now the tactical build. The tactical build has much lower cooldown on the Skull Bolter Tone. So you can call it much often. Basically, you can have 2 Skull Bolter Tones all the time with this build. And a good choice is the Stormbolter MK1. It has higher base damage per bullet compared to the Stormbolter MK2. It has a lower fire rate, so the time to kill would basically a little lower with this. But with your support from the bolter drones, you need less bullets to kill something, and you can focus heavily with this weapon on weak spots like headshots. And the moment, how to explain? And with the support of your skull tones, the Bolter MK1 is a good choice. And with the lower rate of fire, you need to less reload this weapon. Alternative, the Heavy Flamer is an option with the Tech Marine build, but The time to the single target time to kill with the heavy flamer is lower. Yeah, good. It's lower than the compared to the storm bolters or redemption. The storm bolters kill much faster than the heavy flamer, but with the support from your skull bolter drones, you can make a build with the heavy flamer when you have a lot of enemies to kill. Also, the heavy flamer is only a good option when you have really a lot of enemies and can create some space between you and the enemies, because you need to kite them a little backwards, because the time to kill with the flamer is a little lower, so you need to burn them a little. But it has infinite cleave, so it can basically hit all enemies at once. Then the heavy flamer is also a good weapon against bosses. And you can make this weapon even better against bosses with the other build of the tactical. And it's a ranged expert or range specialist build for the tactical. It increases your range damage by 20% and you gain plus 50% damage against giant gene stealers like bosses, like the Skyfest Train or the Brute Lord, and you get plus 10% ammo. And with this bonus damage against ranged, with ranged weapon, the heavy flamer gets much better. And you can create a very good boss damage dealer build with the tactical, and can still utilize his high base armor and the armor from the upgrades and his acid reduction that you can equip. Okay, the next class on the right would be the Interrogator Chaplain. The Chaplain and the Tactical share the same weapon arsenal and weapon choices. The only difference is that the Tactical can equip a Crucius Arcanum, and the Crucius Arcanum is a good choice in this mod. It sucks in the... It was a bad option in the base game in vanilla, but in the mod you can equip a damage upgrade for the weapon and speed upgrade, and it makes the weapon very good. The Crucius Arcanum can only be equipped with Stormbolter MK2 or Stormbolter MK1. I think the Stormbolter MK1 is a better choice, and you would basically play the Chaplain very melee oriented, melee focused. You use your short cooldowns on the deflect ability to make you immune, and try to parry and kill a lot of stuff. And the bolter, you can use the bolter against warrior gene stealers, try to hit the headshot to kill them, or against explosive gene stealers to shoot them before they hit you. But you can also use the deflect ability to make you immune against damage from the explosion gene stealers or others. The Interrogator Chaplain has a very defensive playstyle, because he has no offensive abilities. The deflect ability is an offensive ability, but it's only good against Brute Lords. Against everything else, it does not deflect much damage, and it's more a defensive perk. The other options would be, for example, the Redemption with the Energy Fist. This build is very dynamic. You utilize your melee weapon and your ranged weapon all the time. You swap between range combat, melee combat. And when you run out of ammo with the Redemption and want to reload, you use your deflect ability to make you immune for 5 seconds against damage, and in this period of time you can save reload your redemption and try to shoot once so the enemies get in a stagger state with the redemption, and then you finish them off with the energy fist. This build with redemption and energy fist is very dynamic. You use melee, you use range, you use melee, then again range and wieder melee and wieder range, and when you run out of ammo with your ranged weapon, you use deflect to reload, or when suicide stealers come to you, you use also your ability to deflect you and protect you with your shield. So the next weapon would be the Spear of Caliban. The next weapon would be the Heavy Flamer. The Heavy Flamer is not so a good option for the chaplain, because the chaplain has a very low crit chance, and the tactical class has a much higher critical chance to hit, and this also means that the Heavy Flamer would hit much critical. And the chaplain has a low critical chance, and the Heavy Flamer would hit not much critical. Also his other weapons don't hit much critical, so compared to other classes, all his weapons deal less damage. You still can try the Heavy Flamer for boss damage, but against everything else you don't have much choices to protect you against waves of Gene Stealers. But now, the next weapon would be the Spear of Caliban. Spear of Caliban has... the chaplain has no faster reload perk or build. This also means the Spear of Caliban would run much faster out of ammo, but it's still an option for the chaplain, because he can use his abilities like Deflect and the Shield ability to make you immune against damage. And in this fast, when you use your abilities, you can just use your melee weapon, and the Spear of Caliban will passive reload. And when your deflect ends, you have back your ammunition for the Spear of Caliban and can use it again. So basically something like this: you hold the button, shoot, run out of ammo, you melee, use your deflect ability and use your melee, and after this you have back some ammo for the Spear of Caliban and can use it again. And don't forget, plasma weapons have all infinity ammo, so you don't need to resupply, or you can't run out of ammo. The next weapon would be energy claws. I ignored the energy claws in all classes before, because the claws are somehow not a really good choice. I'm not sure what to do with this. It's not really a good choice in the base game. You can play it when you like, but other weapons are basically a better choice. The next weapon would be the Stormbolter MK2. It's basically depends on what you like more. The Stormbolter MK2 has a higher fire rate and a faster time to kill, but you also run faster out of ammo, so you need much more to reload, and it's hard to reload sometimes when you have a lot of enemies in your face. So Redemption or MK1 would be a better choice here. Yes, the last two remaining classes are the Apothecary and the Assault Terminator, and we start now with the Apothecary next. Apothecary, yeah, you can play a lot. It makes not much difference because the Apothecary does not deal much damage. He has less health, less ammo, lower critical hit chance compared to all other classes. He has no offensive abilities. All his abilities are heal abilities to heal himself or others. So you can basically build or equip the weapon based on your rest of team. Redemption would be good to pick up or pick out the explosive Gene Stealer. So basically you just focus on priority targets that come too near and focus on the explosive Gene Stealers and make and let your other teammates do the job, like killing stuff and something, and stay in the back and try to kill enemies that need to kill fast or first. before they reach your teammates. Or the Storm Bolters. MK1, MK2 have faster reload time than the shotguns of Redemption. So you could play more faster with the Storm Bolter and reload much more faster, but this could be easier when you are under pressure, somehow pushed back in the corner and can't escape but you want to reload your weapon. So a Bolter would be a faster reload compared to the Redemption. Hellfire. Hellfire, I think it needs a buff. I think I changed its damage. I nerfed it last patch, the damage and explosion radius, and momentan not a good choice, but in the next patch I think I will increase the explosion damage, also radius, a little more. But at the moment it's similar to the Redemption, but it's a little harder to aim because you really need to aim at the body of the Genestealer, but it will most time 1 or 2 hit kill them with 1 or 2 shots. But shooting on the ground will mostly not kill Genestealers. Same like the plasma weapons, shooting on the ground and try to hit them with explosion radius. They will mostly ignore it and still run towards you, so you still need to aim on the body part. For the melee weapons, for the Explicari, the only good choice would basically the Navicum. The Navicum has very low melee damage, and you would basically suck. The melee damage sucks against every enemy, and you have a hard time melee, but your cooldowns are shorter. Your heal cooldowns, and Apothecary is a support class, so you want the Navicum to support your teammates. So we came to the Assault. Assault claws are option. Hammer is the option. Mace is the option, cause when no idea, it's the DLC weapon and it's similar to the mace, but the damage is lower compared to the mace. So not sure what to do with the Cosman mace. The sword is an option. It's basically what you want to equip is based on the build you have for the class, also what perks you have equipped. At the moment I have the Berserker build, so the cooldown on Frenzy is much lower, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, so you can utilize the fast attack speed from Frenzy much more often. And the cooldown for your shield ability to protect yourself is also 15% lower with the Berserk build. And a sword is a very good option here because the Frenzy build how can you say, it fits very good the sword with the fast attack speed. You get higher damage when you have Frenzy. The sword is very good against warrior Genestealers, against every Genestealer, but it's not a boss enemy. So basically you can chain your shield ability. And when the shield ability ends, you can use Frenzy. And then when Frenzy again ends, you can use your shield ability with your shield to block. Also the playstyle would be you hold your block and wait for the cooldown for Frenzy to end. So you play defensive, try to sidestep left and right to dodge enemy attacks or block enemy attacks. And when you have no cooldown anymore on Frenzy on your shield ability, you can activate them and then you go offense. And when it ends, you go back to your shield behind and wait again for the abilities to come back. And then again you use it and go offensive. So it's much focused on your abilities, this build. The next build would be, need to look. Where is das hier? Was Assault. Would be the Deep Striker. Deep Striker has more ammo compared to the other, so you're much more tanky. And with Deep Striker, your loadout changes a little. Also the sword is not anymore a good option. You can still play it, but the damage is too low and it needs longer to kill something. Because you can't activate Frenzy much more often. But now you have higher ammo, also higher ammo rating. And the energy hammer is a good option for boss damage now, because you have higher ammo, so you can utilize your shield. Also basically with this build, when you play with the energy fist, you want to play like a tank. You stay in front of enemies, try to block attacks, hold them off, and your teammates try to finish them off. And after a block, you can, when you think you have safe, can land a safe hit. You try to attack. The difference between the hammer and the sword is the attack speed is lower with the hammer. So you are longer in the animation for attack, and you are vulnerable. Also when you can get hit easier from enemies. So it takes more time to go back to your block with your shield. And the hammer is, how I say it, a good option against bosses. It kills them very fast. You just need to look for an opener when you have don't aggro, so you can spam the hammer on bosses. When you have aggro on a boss, you need to block and try to dodge, go left, right, and somebody else basically needs to go off aggro when you want to do boss damage, or you just hold the aggro and hold the block and hope your higher ammo rating with this build protects you, or the aggro has these abilities open to heal you and avoid that your teammates can finish the job and kill the boss. So the two options with this build is play like a tank or do boss damage when you have the hammer equipped. But with this build you can still equip some other weapons like the mace. And now you shift your boss damage to crowd control. You have the mace. The mace has a high attack range compared. It's higher compared to the sword or to the hammer. So you can hit enemies easier from far away and more enemies at once. And this is basically really like a tank. Also like frontliner crowd control, you block. You have a higher attack speed with the mace compared to the thunder hammer, but still lower than the sword. But you can crowd control much easier. Your time to kill is very low with the mace, so you need to hit them often a little more. But you can go faster back behind your shield to block attacks. And basically you would have your enemies to swarm here and try to block them, hold them off, and your teammates stay behind you and shoot them. Also, your teammates need to focus on the explosive gene stealers, because the explosive gene stealers are a threat to the assault. Sure, you can hold block. Block will negate all damage from explosive gene stealers, but you need to go defensive so much and need to go back and try to hold them in front of you, because when the explosive gene stealers go to the left or right or behind you, you will get the full damage from it. One or basically two weapons are still remaining for the assault, the energy claws and the DLC mace. How I tell the DLC mace has not much purpose on the assault terminator. You can still play it. It's basically the same playstyle like the mace, but its damage is a little lower. I think its attack speed is a little higher. Yeah, its attack speed is a little higher, so you can play around and look what you want. So it would basically a little easier for a fast-paced crowd control gameplay and to go faster back behind your block. And the claws, yeah, the claws have a fast attack speed, very fast. Also, it has the highest or one of the highest DPS, also damage per second, but when you block with claws, so I said, you can't see much, yeah. And so basically your only option would be to really block in the last second, because so you can't see, and when you now would swap your block to look what to see what do the enemy know, and in this time all the time when I swap my block, I get a punch in my face. So it's really hard to time your block. But the claws, how I said, it has the highest damage per seconds in the game, and it destroys very fast doors. Yeah, it's just a few hits. So you could equip claws and high armor, and when you start the map you destroy first the doors, and then in the next Cygate you would swap the class or swap to hammer or something else. But also the Berserker build, when you play it with Sword, destroy very fast doors. Yeah, the last build is Zealot. Zealot makes it so that enemies can't block your attacks anymore. Honestly, I need to say I didn't play it much in the mod. I think it would be a good option, but you have no cooldown reduction on your shield ability compared to the Berserker, and little less armor compared to the, or what heißt a little more? A good portion less armor compared to the Deep Striker build. But I wanted to explain something for the Berserker once more. Because Berserker reduces the cooldown of Frenzy, and Frenzy increases your attack speed and your damage. Yeah, you just somehow you deal more damage when Frenzy is active, and with Frenzy you can very fast destroy doors. The Tactical Terminator is basically all his weapons are very good against doors. Also the claws are very good against doors to destroy them. The sword when you have the Berserk build with Frenzy, and the Energy Hammer is always good against doors, but when you drop no Frenzy and hit the 3 times the doors, it's fast very open. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 classes you can choose. Every class, or fast all classes, have some builds and perks that can change the gameplay of the class a lot. And also every class has blessed blood, also automatic life regeneration that heals you over time, every time a little over time. So basically what I see when I play with the mod or see others play the mod, they always play with friends, 1 or 2, sometimes 3 in a group, and when you're just 2 guys in a group, also in a squad, often one guy plays apothecary and the other plays something like assault or here's a shell plane, and when you now have one apothecary with Stormbolter, MK1 or Redemption or Hellfire, and the others is shell plane with Stormbolter and Crucius, you have now one support class. The apothecary is a support class, has low damage, but you can heal yourself and your teammates. And now you have one defensive class. The shell plane has no offensive abilities. All his cooldowns are defensive. He's only strong offensive against Brute Lords, because the deflect ability can one-shot kill Brute Lords. And when you go now with the shell plane and the apothecary in match in Last Light of Dawn, and then enemies spawn, and you have 2 classes with low damage output and low time to kill and no strong crowd control. The Chaplain is a frontliner. You can play it like a frontliner, like a tank, and utilize his deflect abilities to stay alive and up to carry cold healing, but you can't kill fast enough the enemies and you would get overrun and you have a lot of shit in front of face, and in the end you won't be able to reload anymore your weapons. So a better choice would be something like the heavy and Eli Bryan, or heavy and the Chaplain als Frontliner, Oli Bryan als Frontliner, or the heavy and the Assault Terminator als Frontliner. So the heavy would stay behind the Assault Terminator for fire support or support the back, and the Assault Terminator or Oli Bryan or Chaplain pushes forward and holds the enemies back. And the higher fire rate of the assault cannon can kill the explosive dealers, and you can kill the explosive dealers very easy with it, so your frontliner is safe from it. So we could say we could put every class in a specific wall. Also the heavy Terminator would be something like damage on crowd control based on his weapons or boss damage. And Olaf's classes will be more frontliner and crowd control, or more tanky or support. And you need one damage dealer plus crowd control. And then comes the support. I also want to talk a little about the movement, how to stay with your team, position, and pathing on the maps, and the encounters, also the enemies and turrets and all you can meet on the maps that make your life hard. So often in the Space Hulk you have these small hallways. Hallways is this corridors. And you look on the right on your minimap, and now you can see some red lines and two blue lines. And these are doors. The red line means the door is blocked. So no enemy can come from this way here. You are safe from your back. Also this door is blocked here. So everything can come from the front. So it's important always to look on your minimap and to make your plan and look in the future from where can the enemy come and from where can I escape. This is a small door. You can't hack it, you can't open it with the terminal here. You just need to break it open, and to break door open you need special loadouts. Something like the Energy Fist or the Assault Terminator. The Assault Terminator is the best option for it. And now when we just would say we have not the right loadout to open the door, or it takes too much time to open the door because we get fucked up here from enemies. So now is this big door here. This big door is blessed by the Emperor himself. You can open it. It takes a few seconds, and after open you can go behind it. Wait for our teammates to go in. We hold block because we need to stay here, and then we close it. And now all enemies on the Rosa are behind the door, and we get some free space and air to breathe. Often you will note that sometimes, or how would say, on some part of the map, like this room, it's a big spawn point for enemies. A lot of enemies will spawn in this room, and you need to escape very fast from these big wave spawns. And we do this by close the room. Also, we to go behind this door and close the door. And when we close the door, the enemy spawn will stop. So this big ass spawn, this big wave spawn with hundreds of enemies behind this door stopped. And the spawn director will go in a more chill mode or give you some seconds to more breathe. This means when you note that a lot of enemies spawns, you basically want to escape the room, go something else and close the door. You need to look on the minimap that everything is closed. Now on the left on the minimap you will see there's one blue door open. So basically the gene stealers could go to the left and yeah, this door is open, go to the left, one here and come here back. And they will do this and the spawn will not stop here. So the spawn director will still spawn and the enemies come all this way, here, they come from the front here and they will gangbang here you. And from this side they will gangbang you and from here they will spawn more and it's hard to escape, so you need to close this door and this door or it will not stop. So when we are now in this small ways, hallways, and we have a door not open, or have a door behind us open, destroyed or can't close it, or there is no doors to block. This means other gene stealers can come from behind, can from the front, and as team you need some space between you. Because when we stay now, everybody here so near and huge, kiss each other. Look of our sweet asses, gene stealers. They come from the front, and when you try left, right, dodge, or you can't kill them, they are now between us. And the dude behind us will not note it because he looked there. And also from the behind, they will gangbang us basically because we have no space between us, and we will get killed from the back. So you need some space. So this dude here behind need to look in this part and block enemies from here, while the frontliner moves to here and holds them here off. And then you need to come on the road. Then the next guy, this guy basically will cover this part here in this area, and the next dude will cover this area. You really need it because you get on gangbanged, and on higher difficulties you really get packed up. And then the heavy terminator that holds the position behind us comes behind us. We move all three here on the right to the door. Then very important on these hard doors, you need to open or hack it very fast. And then you need your teammates here. They need here to go to create a wall. So the others or the one dude can open the door or hack it and close it. And basically something like this. Stay here and hold the line. Because when everybody here, the assault terminator will not be able to shoot the storm cannon because you need to block enemy melee attacks or he will die on higher difficulties. And now we are get gangbanged everybody here. Assault terminator can't shoot because everybody's here. We have no frontliner. I need to open the door. I open the door, but every enemy comes with us in this room, and much likely somebody is dead, like the apothecary or the heavy terminator. So the heavy wants to stay here, or the heavy, yeah, genau. The Librarian would to stay here on the front, something like this, and the apothecary, the support class, would basically hack and open the door. Same is like when we want to break open this door. We have no sword, so with a sword it takes some time to break a door. It would be a better option to just go here, because look on the map where we can go somewhere else instead of break open the door, because when you want to break open the door, one dude needs to protect from the right and the others need to go here. Your teammate. It's important that enough space is here, because when everybody comes too near and you still, and everybody's next to you, you get aggro. So the dude who wants to open the door get aggro from enemy, but he looks at the door and tries to open it and then he dies. from a hit on the back. So so it's important to create this big wall of space, or this room of space, and create a blocking front line so somebody can open this door. And usually the guy with the energy fist or the assault terminator should open it, because the energy fist opens the energy fist destroys the door much faster. Yes, thank you. Than the sword. And the apothecary should never should never try to break down the door, because apothecary with his vacuum, he needs very, very long time. It's not designed to break down some of these doors. So let's look on some of the maps and how to move on the maps. So in the mod you have the option to play the default variant where every door is closed, or you can play classic, so doors stand open, or you can play this also with Project Grimdark in Dunkeln without lights, in darkness. With also the default, the lockdown maps are easier to play. It's less chaotic, because when you play classic and every door is open, gene stealers come from all sides. They come from here, from south, they come from here, from here, from here, from the top. But now the doors are closed. And when you play lockdown, you need special loadout very often. So this is chapter 1. In chapter 1 you don't have any big doors, only the small ones, and small ones you can only break it up. And when you now play chapter 1 and you're stuck you're stuck in these doors and enemies come from all sides, and then you did the wrong loadout and the wrong path over the map. Basically you can skip this when you want to play classic. Also when you start classic, then you can ignore most doors, and on almost all chapters there's maybe one door you need to break down, and there are often chapters where you just don't even need to break one door when you move correct. So this is chapter 1. I played now the assault with the sword, so we can break open very fast doors. And basically the way we want to go is here. Where my mouse is, we go here, break here, open the door, go here, break here, open the door. Then we go here to the south, here, break here, open the door, go to the generator room, and break here in the middle, again the door open. And from now we basically break open every door. This goes very fast. Maybe takes 2 minutes, because you can move very fast and the assault terminator can break the doors very fast. And now you just move to the objective from here, break this door, go to the right, here open, break this door, and then to the objective here. And then you go the same way back. This is most important, because you already break the doors down and you don't want to swap somewhere else and need to do the same thing again. Also very important, when you are here and the event spawns, you need to pay attention on what part of the map you break the door here down. When you break it here down, you need to go south again and here. When you break it here down, you need to go here in the north. Because when you move now there where the door is not breaking down and you have the big wave spawn from the event spawn here after objective, you won't be able to break down the door and to get stuck. So you need to pay attention how to move and what is already down. And when you are on this objective here and finished it the first, the assault terminator can swap his glass, because you don't need it anymore. You just need to pay attention that you go the same way where the doors already break down. We have also a lot of chapters that have these big hackable doors, so you don't need to break them open. And when you look on the map, It doesn't show yet, no. Yeah, small and big ones are the same, but I know from the head what it was. And let's just start. So this is the big door. You can hack it. You can't. It's not possible to destroy these doors, these big doors. You can, but open. You can open it every time from the terminal and close it again and block it. So this is an example what I mean with move intelligent over the map with your head. This is a small door here. On the left is also a small door. You can stay here, you can break it down, but after it on the right is again a small door, and on the left is also a small door, small door, small door. Here's a small door too. This is a small door too. And when you don't want it, because it takes time, you don't have the loadout, don't want the loadout, here are big doors. It's basically we need now to go a longer way here, but when you know the map, you can skip these small doors. It's sometimes a good option because it takes time to break them when you don't have the loadout. So we go now here the longer way. And there are big doors. After this big door is again a big door. After this, we could go to the left. There's a big door too. And then again a big door. Das heißt, statt here, breakdown, breakdown, and then go here in data center, we could go here on the top, big door on the left. Here's a big door too. Here's a big door too. Here, again a big door, again a big door. So we don't need to break any single door. It's a longer way, but in the end, the time would be the same when you now stay there and break the doors down, or you just move here. You move fast in the mod, so it's not so painful, just like in vanilla, where it takes ages just to move from one spot to another spot on the map. Also, when you close the doors behind you every time and play lockdown, enemy spawns will stop. So when you move fast enough as a group, you don't have to fight much more enemies when you take a longer way. But when you want to break down the doors, you always need to make a defense line, create some room so someone can break it open safe, and you will always have the enemies in the back pushing to you. So now to the right. Here's a big door. You can hack it and go in it. Oh, come in. Close it behind again, so enemy spawn stop from this part of the map. So on the right, need to go to the right. And here's the next door we can open. Here's the next door. Oops, I stopped the process. Go. Close it again to stop the spawns. After closing, we have 2 seconds most times before the enemies come from the next spawn point, and we can move in where we want. We wanted to move to data center, so we moved without breaking a single door. And also when we don't break a single door, it also means less enemies, less enemy spawns, and more room to breathe. So this was everything. This was part 3 of the Nachlight of Dawn guide. It was more extended, more specific. Also for and you also what did I say? Yeah, I didn't cover now the things that already was in part 1 or part 2. So when you want to know how to block and how to kite enemies and crowd control, you should look in part 1 or part 2 of the guide for Last Light of Dawn. And thanks for watching the Emperor Protects. Bye.